Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1157, The Legendary Bar. Let's see if I'm sounding a bit more quiet than usual. I'm at my mother's house. I'm trying to make sure that I am not too loud so she doesn't hear me up from upstairs. So just letting you know on that. Anyway, this chapter follows up last chapter in which we end up learning about the Kuja pirates, the different generations, where we learned that Glorioso, Elder Neo, was actually in love with Roger, but Roger, like every other dude, was more obsessed with Shaki, minus Rayleigh, who as a result ended up getting Shaki's ritzy affections and arguably probably ended up marrying down the line. So yeah. So we got a bit of Kuja Pirates lore and actually seen someone that was able to actually lay a hand on the Pirate King, partly because he was too damn attracted to her. Let's see. Well, you know. And also we ended up, seeing more of the Rocks Pirates. We see Silver Axe. Let's see, I believe Morgan, was it? Yeah, Silver Axe. Joined the Rocks Pirates due to the fact that he basically was impressed by Rocks' strength, and also that he was a rival to go to learn Lion Shiki. Also, the fact we learned that Rocks had some plans involving 2 devil fruits and needed King Harold to get one of them. So yeah, the Rocks Pirates being officially formed in Hachinosu, and a little brief I think time with like the giants, if you will, or at least the Loki family, where I think Ida offered to have Loki come with them, but Loki was suspicious, of course, and Hadruden did not want to do that. But anyway, I've gone long enough about the recap. It's time for the actual chapter, but of course, before that, we've got another Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 39. He fought against Kaido to protect his village, but perished without leaving a body behind. This is where Yamato is paying respects along with Kiku and that Yakuza. I think you see in the background Uti building a snowman to Kaido, which seems a bit contradictory to what they're praying in front of her, but behind her at least. But at the very least, so she seems to Uti seems to still have loyalty to Kaido, but she's building a snowman based off Kaido in front of a person in the grave. But it seems like everyone's not paying mind to her. But yeah, I have no idea who this person's being respected to, but for all I know, it could be one of the daimios for daimios that was part of this region and all that stuff. I can't recall which. It's been a while since I've kept up with my Wano lore. So yeah. Anyway, I've given my sense on that. Yamato story is lasting longer than expected. It may just last as long as the Where Are They Now series, but anyway, or maybe even longer. But anyway, now if that's gone out of the way, time for the actual chapter, which the chapter basically begins with hold on, let me just see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Whoops, wrong image. The chapter basically begins in this place called Mount Bezo International Charity Sanctuary, a charity sort of monk temple, if you will, where the Rocks Pirates are stealing everything from the vault. You see Future Wang Zi, I believe. Telling everyone that everyone's got the goods and telling them that it's time to pull out. You've got monks saying, "No, wait, that money's for the children." But Big Mom accuses them of lying and just collecting it for dust. You just see the Rocks Pirates battling a bunch of monks or grabbing bags of gold, if you will, or coins for heist, if you will. With someone saying, "Hey, Wang Shi, what's going on?" and all that stuff. With someone telling him to lower the, I think one of the pirates is saying, "We need to lower the lift one more time since we're still down there." Let's see. With Wang Shi going like, "Oh, so much whining, telling Shiki to deal with it." But he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about them," and drops a bomb down and causes a massive explosion, which seemingly trying to kill Whitebeard, let's see, Silverax Morgan, and Kaido. So hold on. Let me just, as we see here, let's see, Shiki is, dropping the bomb. We see Kaido, let's see, Whitebeard, and Silverax Morgan. And as a result, you've got like, hold on, let me just find the image. Oh yeah, you got the monks here just talking about, as that explosion going, about how they know about the grift we're running, asking where the soldiers are, with the monks saying, "I know the Marines are almost here," saying that they need to make sure they're not escape your holiness, which arguably, since he's a con man, you can't really call him really that much holy. Anyway, as let's see, let's see, after the sort of bomb that they've done, let's see, explosion they've done for that, the temple gates are being closed. Let's see, with still seeing Big Mom trying to figure out how to escape, if you will, but Whitebeard, as revealed, actually has his devil fruit powers, unleashes his quake ability to cause the whole place to shake around, realizing that, let's see, people wondering what's going on, realize, oh wait, this is Whitebeard's doing, if you will. So yeah, you've got that, and you've got everyone feeling the ground of debris as you see Big Mom, let's see, and one of that armored member of the Rocks Pirates, that Mafia, and Stussy falling down, Wang Zhi and that Fishman one falling down, Monk complaining about the temple being destroyed, and then you get like Kaido talking about how he's jealous of Whitebeard's pirates, with Whitebeard saying, "What, you want to take one?" warning him that you should choose wisely because you'll be with it for life, in which he comments like, "Yeah, that's a good point." And as we see this, oops, sorry, let me just find it. You get Silver Axe, let's see, Silver Axe complaining, who tried to let's see, bury us, and on the second, damn phone, as and realizes that it's Shiki, as Wang Zhi is pointed to him as he's flying, by him going like, "It was you, Shiki!" And Shiki, in the most comical face ever, trying to pass off a lie, saying, "Oh, why, if it isn't my good friend Kuyo? Thank goodness you're alive. I was so worried." But let's see, Silver Axe is not having any of it, thinking like, "You don't stop playing your stupid games. He's going to try and kill just to get the lead out of people, thinking he's just going to kill because, well, let's see." I do like how Wang Zhi, who at first seemed to be like, let's see, okay with tossing them aside, if you will, and then just immediately just frames, let's see, Shiki as doing it. But yeah, so now you've got them let's see, Silver Axe Hand and Shiki trying to kill each other, with Rocks going like, "What are you idiots doing? Stop playing your games and get over here," saying that treasure better be safe, with one of the Rocks, the armored dude, saying, "Of course it is." And let's see, Captain John says, "Hey, Rocks, look over there to see around," as you see, hold on, let me just get it up. Yeah, you see the Marines about to try and capture Rocks, if you will, whereas the Navy saying, "You're surrounded." Let's see him just looks like we're in trouble, telling everyone not to fight amongst themselves, saying they got to take down the Navy. With Whitebeard saying, it's too soon for them to arrive, wondering if they were tipped off, implying that there might be a spy amongst the Rocks crew. I'm not sure. But let's see. With the Navy saying that, belay that, don't hit the waves, hit the enemy, as Rocks saying, "Sink them all and take their loot," as Rocks is showing no fear to this fleet and sinking them down. As, hold on, let me just see if there's, nope. Let's see, best to go back to that image. Let's see, you start to see the Rocks Pirates blowing up ships as the narration goes about how in 2 years of the Rocks Pirates founding, they apparently, let's see, did a total of 16 raids, sunk 76 ships, 14 ports were burned to the ground, 5 towns leveled, and 1 kingdom was brought to ruin. As you see, the Rocks pirates clashing, or mainly Rocks striking with his conqueror's haki. And talked about 3 special violations of Article 18 of world law and 25 crimes that were completely covered up, saying also at this time, through the future pirate king Goldie Roger was also sent to sea, saying that the few years of frantic activity was pretty much regarded as Rocks' era, causing all this chaos. But anyway, after going a bit more of this Rocks flashback, we finally cut back to the hold on, let me just find it. I may have went a bit too far. We cut back to the Giants, where in a place called Ish in the New World, with a government agent here telling them, what do you want, how, telling them to get lost, saying this country is unaffiliated with the government, therefore lawless. The people here have no rights, but Howard is protesting, as he seems to have grown more of a beard, he has shaved his head a bit. He's still got hair on, but it's kind of like saying it's not proper. The world government doesn't make all the rules of the world, telling that these people go because they actually helped them with Elbaf's famine a while back, and they asked for nothing in return, considering them savers. So he wants them, doesn't want them being treated poorly. And the citizens here crying, please help us, Harold. Saying that he's going to repay their debt to them and he will not back down, telling them to leave them alone. The government agent threatening Howard, saying if you do not step down, you will ruin Elbaf's chance of being hopefully added into the world government. Saying if you might aid us, it might benefit you, but if you protect an unaffiliated nation, it will only decrease your chances of joining. As he starts to get more threatening, pulling a gun, and then shooting a civilian and all that stuff, telling him to now clear away. And this saying that none of these prisoners are people to us, and this sort of, as he shoots one of them, and this sort of enrages Harold that he ends up, attacking the government ship, shocking like his, I think, own crew. And the newspaper then reports about how he showed his true colors after feigning alliance to the government. He sinks an innocent warship. So World Economic Journal, so big news Morgans, probably, if I had to guess, or at least, who knows, I know he started around the time of God Valley. I'm not sure if he was around here, but yeah. But basically, government propaganda accusing Howard of being the bad guy, ruining the chances of the Giants of joining Elbaf joining the world government anytime soon. And as a result of this, you end up cutting back to Elbaf's bar with Rocks trying to tell him, I told you what the government does, saying, come on, share a drink at the castle, as we are Eda's bar with but Howard is saying, nope, I am not letting you near letting your crew near my country and all that stuff, with Rocks trying to get him to join one more time, but he's like, stop being stubborn and give up, saying he can't really stand and see him in the government anymore, with him going Howard saying that he will get Elbaf to join the world government one day, and Rocks is just thinking that you're being foolish, even just shaving your head, saying that what, you think that's going to get some kind of culture thing to get you to join or something? With Howard saying Garp laughed at it too, with Rocks showing a bit of respect for Garp here, saying that how, saying that he hates the brass as well, thinking he'd be much better as a pirate, which, to be fair, ironically, his grandson would become a pirate, saying that but Howard, in a similar manner to Vegapunk, saying that it's an organization and there are some decent Marines working there hard to save lives, so he thinks that there are some good people there he can make connections to join and all that stuff. He even talks about how he's just begun to even accept recruits from Elbaf, such as Saint John the Giant, if you will. Talk about if only could send more powerful warriors to help, since he knows that strength would go a long way to helping the downtrodden. with Rox talking about says that sounds like the last thing he wants to deal with out there and all that stuff. And then he tries to get Ida to say talk him out of this and all that stuff, with Ida to smirking and making fun of Rox, saying, if Hal was my son, I think I say choose better friends. Him going like, hey, that's not funny, but you've got like Marco, who's practicing being a bartender here, with Loki and Hydrudent listening in, I think, on the conversation. As we know, Loki keeps trying to like join the Rox pirates, but basically Rox turns him down each time. Anyway, we cut to the let me just find it. We cut to the Navy and Navy HQ, where someone's talking about how all a giant has to do is roll over and sleep, and he'll crush the human sleeping next to him. Saying if he gets angry and losing control, it'll be life-threatening. Saying how we're supposed to consist with something like that. And apparently this is something that the high-ups have said. As he goes, Garp says, so speak for yourself, as we see a young Garp, where he is Vice Admiral, and like Luffy's, and the narration of Luffy's grandfather. And then we get Son Goku, who is currently also a Vice Admiral at this time. So before being announced as the future Fleet Admiral. And then we have, of course, Otsuru, like the elderly, Vice Admiral that we know, who is a future great advisor. Is also there, also a Vice Admiral. And then we have also Navy, Admiral, Kong, who is currently a Navy command, a Navy's Admiral at this time, not the Fleet Admiral, nor the, of course, future Commander-in-Chief, where basically Garp is saying that it's a good thing to have, like Garp saying how it's a good thing to have giants in the Navy. With Sengoku commenting about how Howard's an honest and well-meaning man wanting to change Elbaf's history. With Otsu talking about how she's worried about how Rox has been trying to get him to win over, saying if he joins their crew, even the Navy might not be able to stop them. With Admiral Kong thinking like he knows, but saying how he's trapped between a rock and a hard place, because it seems like he doesn't really have the authority to try and get the giants to join, even though he'd probably want that. With him talking about the problem is, historically speaking, they've been a vicious people. And Garp says, yeah, and I want them on our side, Kong. Talking about how just bring Elbaf into world government. And says, you think that, if Kong going like, you think it's up to me? I wish. So it's clear that the Navy would want the giants to join, but at the moment they can. But at the moment they can't, because the world government's higher-ups refuse to do so. Anyway, we cut to like, Hachinosu or Full Lead 42 years ago. And there's a bit of a stir with amongst the Rox pirates, where they're saying like, this is a scandal and all that stuff. This is a disaster, as the papers say that none other than Shaki has quit being a pirate now of the particular Kuja pirates, and is not going to be their captain anymore. And this means that many of the pirates in Hachinosu, it's like, no, our chances of running into her are now zero. With some of them even going like, how this is devastating. How they only went out to sea to become pirates because they wanted to be boarded by Shayaku one day. Basically, they wanted to be beaten, get their asses whipped, just so they can get a glimpse of this beautiful pirate lady, if you will. With some of them talking about their waiting best years of their lives for this. With them all crying, come back to us, Shaki. So, you've basically got many of like a bunch of simps being all, no. Anyway, you get Big Mom and Gloriosa talking. We're wondering what Gloriosa wondering what her former first mate is up to. With Big Mom saying, did she quit because she wanted to chase a man just like you did, Gloriosa? Saying, even the island of women can't seem to defeat love. With her going like, I don't expect you to understand the agony of true love, with the way you crank out babies like popcorn. And as we see, we've got a young Katakuri and a young Charlotte Oven. Let's see, next to Big Mom. I can't tell if there's another kid here, but I think that might just be Big Mom's belt. But basically, young Katakuri and young Oven, which a few fans like King of Lightning will be happy to see Katakuri, but yeah. But Gory also just goes like, it finds it hard to believe that she's got love sickness though, saying like if it's with Roger, she'll never forgive him. Give her, I mean. But granted, she seems to be completely unaware of the fact that Shaki has been completely immune to Roger's charms. Let's see, because he keeps going a simp. Like she's being a simp for Roger. But anyway, but as you've got that, you end up get Buckingham Stussy here is going like how everyone always talks about Shaki this, Shaki that. But going like, but you've never had eyes for anyone like me, right? Newgate, but Whitebeard basically says, I've never had eyes for you at all. And she gets annoyed saying, what? But it's me, Miss Buckingham. I could have any man in the world. And he goes like, so what's your problem? My problem is I want you. So basically confirming that Whitebeard had no interest in Buckingham Stussy, which I think basically everyone basically thought was the case, as her claiming that Weavile is his son, which everyone doubts, but frankly, which to me seems to imply that at best, Edward Weavile is most likely some sort of merged clone figure created by, or some like new being created from the DNA of Whitebeard and Stussy that she must have gotten her hands on. But yeah. But anyway, the Rocks pirates all get a bit. Pirates and Hachinosu go like, "Look, everyone! It's big news saying the Kuja ship is offshore." As we see, hold on, let me just get it. Nope, not that one. Let's see, Shayaku landing on here with the Hachinosu port. Let's see, going like saying this was one of the most shocking days in the Pirate Island history, and you've got like let's see, Rocks pirates around the crew saying, it's Shaki, the goddess is here. I'm going to die happy now, and all that stuff. As Shayaku thanks Tritamar to, for landing her here. She'll take it from here, and everyone says, take care, Captain. As, let's see, the Kuja pirates say farewell as Tritamar has taken over. And, but yeah. As the narration goes, how the untouchable idol, let's see, herself the object of the world's desire, has set foot in the land of untamed beasts. With many members of the pirates going like, why is he here? Oh, lovey-eyed, saying, there's no reason for someone like her to take a step on this. Let's see, they all getting, dreaming all that stuff. Let's see, wondering if she's perhaps here to join the Rocks pirates. But Shayaku reveals that no, she just wants to live here for a little while, which shocks them all. And says that since she's a pirate, you two know, since she's a pirate too, you know she can't really quit the business fully, as the Navy's still after her. So she wants to hide out here for the moment, asking if these pirates here will protect her and all that stuff, using her charm, if you will. And they go like, of course we will. Let's see her going like, let's see, listening to every man saying it smells here. They say, we'll clean it up. Talk about how she liked to open her own business. We'll build it right now. Let's see. We'll plant flowers. And this is where you start, as they're doing this, the Rocks pirates, led by Rocks, start coming in, if you will. And they're going like, oi, what's all the ruckus? And what are you doing causing a scene? The regular pirates go like, it's Rocks Python saying, no, please, sir, don't be angry. This was all our idea, saying, don't kick her off the island, as he looks up and sees Shaki has created a new bar. As the narration goes like, this is the framed establishment of the Pirate Island Full-Ed, saying that Shaki's rip-off bar is noted for its month-long waiting list. Going like, what the heck? Rocks going like, what the hell is this? As you see people being all lovey-dovey. And then we end up seeing, hold on, let me just find it. Let me just find it. Here we go. A Shaki now wearing a sort of maid waitress sort of get up, saying, I'm so glad you came. Welcome. Saying, you be my first customers. Saying, why don't you stop in and have a drink? And then, let's see, to my surprise and everyone else going like, let's see, you see Rox, Whitebeard, and many of the other Rox Pirates dudes going all hot bum 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 in a Looney Tunes fashion, going like, "There's an angel among us." As you say, this narration says, "This lone peony blooming amid the let's see, saying this lone peony blooming amid the blasted wasteland brought beauty and comfort to this island." So basically, every one of these lot is simping for Shaki, if you will. They're all getting excited. Let me just see if I did another image. Nope, I should really double check this before, but yeah, basically they're all simping. They're all basically simping, and then the narration goes like, in the time that she would become an irreplaceable treasure to the pirates who made this island their home. And what a treasure it is not something that can be stolen, which gives you, and let's see, narration here implies that, let's see, she was one of the treasures that was stolen from Hachinoshu that led to the events of God Valley. As she talks about, like, she can't get it open, as the Rox pirates saying, "We'll help." With Rox going like, "This bar smells nice." But anyway, as you've got the Rox pirates acting like a bunch of idiot simps, if you will, you cut to the world government here. Let's see, the five elders basically in the hall of Sacred Mejra saying they give Howd this ultimatum then, saying if the warriors of Elbaf meet the following requirements, you'll be allowed to join the world government. And their order is basically killing Rox, ending the chapter. Anyway, now for my overall thoughts. Okay, first of all, I will admit, I love seeing the Rox Pirates just being a crew, as you will. This chapter, I think, did very well in establishing that, and let's see, we get to see the Rox Pirates being a bit of a crew, pillaging and looting, if you will, stealing treasures, and then backstabbing each other along the way, if you will. I do like seeing that. Granted, it is interesting that Oda has decided to show that from where they are raiding, if you will, is basically the first lot is these these corrupt priests, if you will, or these corrupt monks, who I'm not sure, maybe this is Oda doing some commentary on the fact that there's a bunch of charities around the world who collect money to help like causes like poor starving kids, but actually the people behind it are not actually doing any of the charity work and actually just exploiting people's donations to like build their own luxury stuff. I'm not sure if Oda's doing some sort of political commentary there. I do know that there was like a bit of a scandal with this this in the UK with like Captain Tom's daughter, I think, exploiting money that he was doing for charity or something. But it's been a while since I've looked at that. But yeah. But yeah. So who knows? I'm not sure if this is to imply that Rox is not necessarily a full-on bad guy because he's stealing money from there, or just the fact that, let's see, Oda decided that, okay, if you're going to see Rox stealing, might as well just show some bad people. But it is also nice that we end up seeing a bit of the scandals here of Rox Pirates trying to backstab each other. As we know, let's see, Sengoku did say the crew did try to kill each other constantly and all that stuff. So, yeah, we see let's see the rivalry of Shiki and Silver Axe, which mentioned afterwards, of him trying to blow them up. And yeah, as a result, you get them sort of fighting each other. But yeah, no luck, unfortunately, for Shiki. Whitebeard being the second strongest member of the Rox Pirates at this time, and him probably likely the third. Let's see, he was able to survive and also has his Quake powers. So we do know at the very least that Whitebeard at least had his Devil Fruit powers at this point. And the fact that so it's confirmed to not be one of the Devil Fruits that was there on the God Valley let's see incident and all that stuff. So Kaido's fruit and Kuma's were ones, but not Whitebeard's. So who knows? We may not get the full confirmation of the Devil Fruits until we actually see the God Valley battles. But yeah, nevertheless, it is nice to see this little thing. But yeah, but it was also Nice to actually see the sort of Rocks pirate. Let's see, get a brief idea of like so many of the Rocks pirates' exploits during this time when they are being infamous pirates, if you will. So getting a bit of a rundown of what they managed to do, which apparently doing successful 16 raids, which arguably makes sense, as I think the Straw Hats have only done like 2 or 3 raids, like in the respective time skips and all that stuff. So it's like it's not something that Etsy spams every so often, so in 2 years, but still pretty impressive. They've managed to sunk 76 ships, which is way more, which is just 26 more than Marineford, and just 24 below the Marine ships that were there at Egghead. So yeah, that's impressive. Oops, hold on. Let's see. 14 ports have been burned. So yeah, you know, like I suppose places like let's see, Jaya, but yeah, as well as about 5 towns. So and also even 1 entire kingdom. So yeah, they've basically caused all kinds of havoc. And apparently for 3 special violations of Article 18 of world law, so arguably world crimes. So it's interesting that the world government does have, let's see, international law, because you do wonder with like, which is kind of interesting to see, because we do know that in the world of One Piece, many islands and countries are going to war each other for resources. So you got to wonder if the world government, let's see, how the world government. You do got to wonder. So you do have to wonder if the world government, who wants to try and keep order, has made some laws that prevent them from doing like certain crimes and all that stuff. I'm curious to see what the Rocks pirates do. Did they do any famine, starvation, poison, that kind of crimes? Or I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if Oda will ever make it clear about the sort of world laws that the world government currently has, unless he gets like an SBS or maybe even a sort of data book explaining. Who knows? I'm hoping someone would maybe give an idea, because at the very least, this seems to be like information that would come from SBSs that Oda likes to do. So yeah. But yeah, but it's clearly like Roxas's era. I do like how he's like trying to get his crew to behave, but when they say he's in the Navy, he's just like, just sink and loot them. He's not like afraid. He wants to take them on head on. Clearly, this is like the biggest threat the world government has ever really faced in modern times, really. Let's see, arguably only, which only probably Luffy and maybe the Yonko and now the Revolutionary Army is finally starting to make their moves that become actual threats to the world government. But yeah. But so yeah, it's impressive that you got to see the Rocks, let's see, Rocks being such a threat with his pirate crew. And the fact that, yeah, this is undoubtedly his era, despite the fact that Roger exists here. Anyway, I do like how we see how King Howard trying his best to like deal with a diplomatic situation where, let's see, a country that's not affiliated with the world government that helps his people out is being under threat by the government, and he is trying to get the government to stand down, but the government is threatening, at least the government agent here is threatening him, saying like, you cannot do anything to help these people unless you want to risk your government thing, and he even tries to encourage him to like, actually, why don't you help us? This could help out. But Howard, let's see, is an honorable man and will not let these people suffer under the hands of like cruelty, and he gets especially enraged when the government agent shoots, let's see, one of the civilians, and of course this just spikes Howard's ire. Unfortunately for Howard, let's see, the world government has like the press on their side, and as a result, paint him as the bad guy and sort of like delay his chances of trying to join the world government, and even paint him as the monster attacking an innocent government ship. But of course, let's see, most of the world will believe this, but of course, those who know how will probably fear, let's see that he is trying, of course, do the good and trying best to get the world and trying to do good and trying the best to get Elbaf to join, but also trying to help as many people as he can, as he wants to try and make the world more peaceful. As you know, let's see, Howard, could maybe submit the world government to submission due to the giant's might, or at least most of it. Probably the only real threat he would probably deal with is either Rox himself, or possibly like the world government's celestial dragons, maybe Garp, but yeah. But arguably, even though Harold has the strength to submit the world to his will, he'd rather help them, but only really takes violence when the people who he's indebted to are being threatened and treated cruelly, basically. But I do like how Rox is like still trying to tempt Harold to join him, saying, "Come on, you've seen what it's like. Come on, you should join us by now. We should take down the world government." But I do like how Harold is still trying to take the hard way and saying, "No, I do believe long term this can work. I even got like giants joining." So it's nice to actually see Vice Admiral John the Giant actually join the world government. So I do like that. So I do like that we actually get to see that and what he looks like as a young Marine. Though I think you got that in like a double colored spread page. So I do like that. But let's see. But it is also interesting that during this conversation with Harold, we learn that Garp is also Garp is brought up when Rox comments about his shaved hair. So it's nice to learn that the reason why Harold has shaved hair is because it's some sort of resolve he's done, gone and maybe inspiration from another country's culture. And apparently, because Garp found it and mocked it as well. But yeah. But it's interesting that despite the fact that Rox is like is Garp as one of Rox's enemies, he seems to respect Garp enough and thinks that, you know what, you're wasting your time in the world government. You hate the top brass there as well. You should become a pirate like us, which is, of course, Garp never does. Because Garp morally believes in the justice of the Marines. He just hates the celestial dragons. But generally, he does believe in the Navy's ideals of justice. Just the top brass he's against. So yeah, which is why he never becomes an admiral or fleet admiral, despite having the strength to do so. So yeah, but it's interesting that Rox does seem to respect him. Granted, if Garp was probably not a pirate, he'd probably try to get him to join his crew, but I think Garp would be refused. Though it is ironic that eventually, I do think it would be quite interesting if Rox was alive to find out that Garp's own grandson has instead chose to be a pirate instead, or even his son has become a revolutionary. See, I wonder how Rox would comment on that, unless you believe the theories that Rox is somehow still alive inside Blackbeard. But I'm not going to get into that speculation. But I do like how we end up seeing, Ida's views of Rox here, and thinking that Hal should just get better friends than Rox when he tries to get Ida to talk some sense. And he says, like, yeah, get better friends. But yeah, I just love the smirk she gives here. So even though, the Rox pirates are clearly taking over the flashback for the time being, it is nice to actually see cut into the Giants during this period and seeing Howard's struggles to try and get the acceptance into the world government, despite the fact that even though there could be easier ways to do it, he just won't do it if it means harming those he's indebted to. Anyway, it is actually kind of nice to actually also see the Marines during this time, in which it's interesting that it seems that Garp has fought. These four Marines here has fought. That Garp has formed a bit of a trio here with Sengoku and Otsu all being like 3 vice admirals. 4 if you count Kong, but it seems like this group being this 4 being quite a group of friends, if you will, who would later go on to lead the Marines. Granted, I think Kong will be fleet admiral by the time of God Valiant happens, but here he's still currently an admiral. I'm curious to see if he was recently promoted to an admiral because Rox killed the previous one, or if he was an admiral at the same time as that same admiral that was killed by Rox. But it's kind of interesting to see Garp here, wanting the Giants to be Giants to just join the Navy. Sengoku talks about Howard's commitments to do so. And then even Otsu saying that we should get the Giants to join because if Rox is trying to recruit them, and if Rox gets them, the Navy won't stand a chance against them. And Kong seems to agree, but of course realizes that his hands are tied because the world government refuses to do so because, some prejudice of Giants accidentally stepping or losing their temper. Arguably stuff that might be considered true, but at the same time, let's see, they're using their own prejudice and their own reasons at the moment to just like not get the Giants to join right now. But arguably, the Navy sees the value, at least, of the Giants joining, at least military-wise. Heck, even Howard does when you get, let's see, John the Giant to join, because it's like their strength could help people, and the world government realized the Navy here realized their strength could help them take on pirates. Even Rox realizes that they'd be dangerous foes. So you've got that kind of little sort of situation. But anyway, let's see. What's also more funny is here is the fact that you get a bunch of Rox pirates here, let's see, and Hachinosu pirates losing their minds at the fact that Chayaku has decided to sort of, retire. And it's like, no! And it's like funny just to learn that some just joined just because they wanted to be beaten up by her, which I think I saw King of Lightning talk like, okay, they're like, these guys are like people who let like ritzy, sexy cosplayers step on them in Comic Cons, which arguably, yes, you probably got people like that in real life, but it seems like they also exist here in One Piece, in which clearly this lot, ritzy Sharky was so beautiful that many people just became pirates just to meet her. I'm curious to see if that's the same case with Boa Hancock, though granted, there may be a much more reluctance to try and do that because Boa Hancock is the one empress that has the ability to turn people to stone with her beauty. So yeah, but anyway, it was also sort of interesting just to see the bit of the dynamics with the Rox pirates here between like Big Mom and Gloriosa talking about it. Gloriosa like saying Shaki better not be doing this so she can go after Roger, but it seems to be completely blinded by the fact that Shaki has no interest in Roger and of course Rayleigh. And then you got a bit of banter between these two with Big Mom saying that you Kuja pirates seem to be your slaves to love and all that stuff, but she going like, you wouldn't understand, you just pop up kids like it's nothing, which, let's see, even when she's a member of the Rox Pirates crew, we do see her producing kids with Katakuri like here. So, yeah. But I also end up learning a bit of confirmation that, okay, Stussy does have affections for Whitebeard. Whitebeard has none for her. And she's like, come on, let's see, why not be with me? And all that stuff. So, yeah, it is funny to see all these big legends having like, which they regard as beautiful women falling for them, but they have no absolute interests in them whatsoever. So yeah, but of course we end up learning that actually it's interesting to learn that Shayaku actually decided to come to Hachinosu and live there for a bit and decides that, you know what, I'm going to stay here for an island. You lot will protect me, right? And because I do like how and it's interesting that Tamaki is become the captain of the, let's see, Kuja Pirates, meaning that for like, I'm trying to think, let's see, Boa Hancock was 12, so which was like, I believe 18 years ago. Let's see, she was basically became a slave, and then, let's see, Fisher Tiger set her out, means that Tamamaki ended up being the Kuja pirate captain for probably about 2-3 decades at the very least. So, Tamaki became like the pirate empress for a very long reigning decade. So, yeah, I don't know how old she was by the time that she was, so which makes me probably now realize that, okay, since Shanks is probably a baby by the time of let's see, Godfrey Incident, it was probably not Shanks she fought for, and that's making me probably, which I probably should have realized sooner, it was probably actually most likely someone like Dragon. Who knows? It could be that, at least that's what many people theorize, but I don't think that she is going to be like Luffy's mum. Now, if she ends up doing, that might lead to more theories of like Luffy Hancock being more confirmed. Some people in the shipping thing, but who knows? For all we know, it could be an entirely different pirate. But anyway, who Tamaki ended up falling for. But anyway, I do like how Shaki is using her charm and beauty to woo people to like become member, to like set up a bar and all that stuff, and they promise to protect her. And the more shocking thing is when the Rox pirates arrive, Shaki's so beautiful that she gets all these guys simping for her. It's like, let's see, people were dissing Roger, but now Rox and Whitebeard have all the sort of like cartoony love heart things, so they're being ridiculous as well. But it's also interesting that the narration seems to imply that Shaki is such a treasure that she might have been the treasure that was stolen from Hachinoshu, which I guess kind of makes the incident a bit underwhelming, because it's not like the sort of like Luffy's own personal connection to Ace being his brother, and also Ace being the son of the Pirate King being executed. That Whitebeard is coming to save his also, adopted son. But it's like everyone from Hachinosu and the Rocks Pirates are going to go to God Valley to save Shayaku, which seems to like seems like they've been distracted by a more important goal. Granted, we do know that there are some devil fruits there in in God Valley, so they're probably there as well. But I'm wondering if Shayaku is just more of the motivation for pirates that are not part of the Rocks Pirates that also come there, as we know that they do come here. But nevertheless, it's probably God Valley is probably most likely still going to be, some treasures that Rocks has. Probably the devil fruits he's need have been taken. But it seems like Shaku might have also been taken as a bonus, and as a result, you're going to get them there. Maybe, who knows? This might lead to Rayleigh, Shaku, and Rayleigh getting their affections for each other. But who knows? I could be wrong in that part. So, but yeah. But the most interesting thing is the fact that the world government has basically now decided to give Howard an ultimatum. If he wants the Giants to join the world government, get rid of Rocks. Now, it's interesting to see, is Howard going to play any part in the God Valley incident, or is Howard going to refuse this? It's interesting because it seems, regardless, at the very least, Rocks considers Howard a friend. I'm not sure if Howard considers Rocks a friend. At the very least, he thinks, maybe just like a troublemaker that he's acquainted with. But at the very least, it is curious to see, will Howard try and do what the world government wants and trying to kill Rocks? Will this cause Rocks' plans to crumble, or will Rocks try and or will Rocks turn against Howard? Who knows? At the very least, we do know that Loki's sided with Rocks and allowed the world government to kill him. But yeah, but who knows? But we do know that regardless of what happened, Loki would always rejected by Rocks. Anyway, overall, I'd give this chapter, say, like an 8 out of 10. It's nice seeing the Rocks pirates with their banter, doing pirate stuff, pillaging and looting, also trying to kill each other with like Shiki and Silver Axe. So we got a little bit of that. Seeing the exploits of the Rocks Pirates, the number of places they raided. Howard struggled to try and get the Giants to join the world government, even when the world government's doing cruelty to their own allies who are not affiliated with the world government. Rocks and Howard still chatting with each other, even having a little banter with Ida. Garp, and the Marines that we know talking about, trying to get the Giants to become part of the Navy and their military value. Shaki beginning the origins of her bar, as well as learning how she quit the Kucha Pirates and lived in Hachinosu. Not really a big fan of the idea that she might be one of the reasons, or it might be a Helena Troy situation, as some people have commented on. But it's also nice to actually, but it's also funny to see that even the members of the Rocks Pirates were simps for her and all that stuff. And of course, the world government's ultimatum. Overall, good chapter. May not be as great as the last ones, but nevertheless, still a good one. I'm enjoying this flashback of the Rocks Pirates. I'm very curious to see if we're actually going to see God Valley soon, or if we'll cut more to more of the Giants' backstories. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. For those who end up listening, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and goodbye for now.